Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Yesterday and today I've been reading a lot of articles with a lot of statements made by some Ukrainian handlers claiming that the Russians will start a big offensive either at the end of this year or maybe at the beginning of next year. Remember, this is what they say. It doesn't have to be true, but nevertheless this is the claim. Another claim that these guys make is that Russia and possibly Belarus will invade again Ukraine, or at least from the north the Russians will invade, but they're afraid that the Belarusian might invade someone else. I made a video earlier today where an article was claiming that the Belarusian army was maneuvering some tanks at the border with Poland and Lithuania, and everybody got scared. Well, there were 20 tanks. I don't think you start an invasion with 20 tanks, you know what I mean. But now they say that they're very scared, the Ukrainians, that the Russians will again invade from Belarus. So this article comes from Insider, and it's from today, December 14th, 2022. Ukrainian forces are bracing for the possibility of another Russian invasion via Belarus. We have to be ready. So Ukraine is preparing for the possibility of another Russian invasion via Belarus amid military drills. And I'm quoting, "We have to be ready here," the country's defense minister told CNN. If I remember correctly, that's Mr. Reznikov, right? Analysts are skeptical that the exercises are cover for an attack or that Belarus would send its troops to join the war. Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov, that's the guy, told CNN that his country's forces are preparing for the possibility of another Russian ground invasion via Belarus, which is closely allied with Moscow and has held military drills near Ukraine's northern border in recent days. And I'm quoting, "We have to be concerned," end quote, Reznikov said, adding that Belarus is not a friendly neighbor. Belarus has already been used as a launching pad for Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine and has faced sanctions from Western countries as a result. The country's authoritarian leader, Alexander Lukashenko, is widely viewed as Russian President Vladimir Putin's puppet. They can't be allies, right? Only we can be allies. The other guys cannot be allies. One have to be the puppet of the other one. But here, we're all allies, because if the United States has military personnel and weapons and all that in, let's say, any country it wants in Europe, NATO alliance. The same thing happens with, let's say, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Romania, Hungary. They all have weapons and military personnel in the United States, right? So wouldn't that tell you who's who and what's what? But they're allies. Yeah. The Tards would say, yeah, but we need them here in Europe because we are weak and we need them to come over here and fight for us. I know. Okay. Yeah, that's a good justification that works for, I don't know, for kindergarten level. Now, anyway, Belarusian and Russian troops participated in joint military drills in the days leading up to the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in late February, and there are concerns that recent exercises could signal another assault is on the horizon. "We have to be ready here," Reznikov told CNN. There also has been some speculation that Belarus might send its troops into Ukraine to bolster Russia's war effort. I personally don't think that Belarus will move any troops into Ukraine. I think they will keep their troops over there in case someone else tries to do something. I don't think they will join the Russians, because if they're the puppets of the Russians, why would they join in? Because once they join in, the other side will have all the justification it needs or it doesn't need to do more. So they're kept over there, they're using their land, okay, because they're allied, remember? But, oh no, they're not allied, it's a puppet, okay. Anyway, let's move on and see what's going on here. Belarusian forces remain unlikely to attack Ukraine despite a snap Belarusian military readiness check on December 13th, according to the Institute for the Study of War, which has carefully tracked the conflict in Ukraine. The exercise does not appear to be cover for concentrating Belarusian and or Russian forces near jumping off positions for an invasion of Ukraine. Well, this Institute of War that these guys are mentioning, Institute for Study of War, I used to trust it until I verified something that they said about the, you remember those, I can't remember, what Avdiivka was it? The bombardment of those barracks, where the prisoners of war, the Azov prisoners were, and the Russians claim it was the Ukrainians. Ukrainians said no, it was the Russians, and then this Institute of War made some claims. I covered that in a video about, I don't know, like 3 months ago or so, if not more. And I think they were a little bit, they were reaching a conclusion without the evidence. And they made it sound like that was a done deal. Like no, no skepticism there. So a recent assessment from the ISW underscored that Russian officials have consistently conducted information operations, suggesting that Belarusian groups' forces might join Russia's invasion. I don't think so, but anyway, while also emphasizing that this is like part of an effort to pin Ukraine forces at the Ukraine-Belarus border to prevent them from reinforcing Ukraine operations elsewhere in the theater. Now that's a 100%, I agree with that. I think that's what it is. The Russians are maneuvering over there at the border with Ukraine in Belarus, and the Ukrainians have to keep a contingent of military troops and all that stuck over there in case those guys are doing something. And then therefore they can't help on the other side, other fronts. I mean the open front actually. The exercises force Ukraine to position troops along the border in preparation for a possibility of an attack, meaning that these troops are unavailable to support Ukraine's counteroffensives in the northeast and south, offensives which have seen Russia lose control of a substantial amount of territory in recent months. Well, the Belarusian army forces are small and weak. Adding that, it's a guy here who said that, adding that the Belarus military would get eaten alive if it invades Ukraine. He noted that the Belarusians have been very careful not to get their own troops involved. Of course, it is not only the Belarusians. Why would they do this? Because, as I said, once they do that, they're going to allow the Poles to get in. They allow other weasels to do other stuff. So, you stay over there. There's no need for you to do anything. We're going to take care of it. That's what the Russians are probably telling the Belarusians. Yes, they're going to move around. They're going to bring whatever over there. These guys are going to be all, oh, are they coming? Are they not coming? They're not going to come. At least the Belarusians. I don't know about the Russians if they will open a new front. There are 9,000 people over there. I don't think that's that's how much they brought lately. And I think they had 1,000 before, so about 10,000 troops in Belarus. That's not a force to conduct any offensive operation unless you don't have anybody in front of you. And I don't know how many Ukrainians have over there located. So they are thinking that it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. It's good to be prepared anyway. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.